The bright screens in the control room of Mauna Kea Observatory flashed with urgent alerts. Dr. Alan Garcia leaned forward, adjusting his glasses as he studied the data stream. His fingers tapped quickly across the keyboard, bringing up more detailed scans of the anomaly his team had detected beyond Neptune's orbit. "This can't be right," he muttered. "Check these readings again." His assistant, Linda Woods, was already running the calculations. "I've checked 3 times, Alan. Those objects are moving in formation and they're big, each one larger than anything we've ever put in space." Dr. Garcia reached for his phone. This wasn't something that could wait until morning. As the lead astronomer at the observatory, he knew exactly who needed to be informed when unidentified objects were heading toward Earth. Within hours, the news had reached Captain Olivia Winters of the Space Force's 1st Orbital Defense Squadron. She stood in front of her team, pointing to the projection screen behind her. "Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing is not a drill. These objects were first detected 6 hours ago. They're moving fast, faster than should be possible based on our understanding of physics." One of her officers raised a hand. "How many objects are we talking about, Captain?" "Current count stands at 37 large vessels with hundreds of smaller objects moving with them." She paused to let that sink in. "Yes," I said, "vessels. At this point, we're operating under the assumption that this is an alien armada." The room fell silent. Humanity had long debated the existence of intelligent life beyond Earth, but actual contact had remained the stuff of science fiction. Until now. Across the globe, similar briefings were taking place as governments struggled to come to terms with what was happening. At the United Nations, an emergency session had been called. World leaders connected via secure video links, their faces showing varying degrees of shock, fear, and determination. In Colorado, deep within a mountain complex, General Richard Powell established a unified defense command center. Military personnel from dozens of nations worked side by side, setting aside old rivalries in the face of what could be an existential threat. "We need to consider every possibility," Powell told his international staff. "These visitors might come in peace, but we need to be ready if they don't." Meanwhile, scientists around the world focused their instruments on the approaching armada. Each new piece of data confirmed what seemed impossible hours earlier. Earth was about to have its first confirmed contact with an alien civilization. Diane Fuller wasn't part of any government team. As a civilian astronomer with a powerful home telescope, she had been tracking the object since hearing rumors online. When she captured the first clear images, her hands shook so badly she almost dropped her equipment. The ships, and they were definitely ships, had a strange organic look to them, with curved lines and surfaces that seemed to shift and change even as she watched. Diane uploaded her images, and within minutes they had spread across the internet. There could no longer be any doubt or cover-up. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. At NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, engineers worked frantically to repurpose deep space communication arrays. Every attempt to contact the approaching armada had met with silence. "They must be receiving our signals," said communications expert Judy Ballard. "They're just not answering." "Or they communicate in ways we don't understand," replied her colleague, Dr. Eric Monroe. Lieutenant Commander Kyle Bradshaw had been staring at the tracking data for hours when he noticed something others had missed. "They're not just approaching randomly," he told his superior officers, pointing to his screen. "Look at these patterns. They're spreading out in what looks like a classic containment formation. Whatever they're doing, it's deliberate and coordinated." The news wasn't good. Military analysts suggested that such formations were typical of forces preparing for either an attack or a blockade. 5 days after the initial discovery, the Armada suddenly slowed as it reached Mars orbit. The massive ships spread out in a loose sphere around Earth, maintaining their position. President Eleanor Mitchell addressed a frightened world from the Oval Office. "My fellow citizens of Earth, we face an unprecedented moment in human history. We do not yet know the intentions of those who have come to our solar system. We have attempted communication and received no response. Yet I urge everyone to remain calm. Our scientists are working to establish contact. Our military forces stand ready to defend us if necessary, but we must not assume hostile intent where none may exist. Behind the scenes, her advisors were less optimistic. Intelligence reports suggested the visitors had technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. If they chose to attack, humanity's defenses might prove woefully inadequate. What do they want? Why just sit there? The president asked her national security advisor, Ben Walsh. They might be studying us, Walsh replied. Or they could be waiting for something specific. The fact that they've stopped at Mars instead of coming directly to Earth might be a good sign. In orbit above Earth, astronauts aboard the International Space Station had the clearest view of the situation. Commander Lisa Blackwell described the ships in her daily report. They seem to shimmer when sunlight hits them. The surfaces aren't solid like our vessels. They appear to ripple and move. It's unlike anything we've built or even designed. If I didn't know better, I'd say the ships themselves might be alive somehow. As hours turned into days, the aliens maintained their position and their silence. Earth's governments continued attempts at communication using every conceivable method. Radio waves, light signals, mathematical sequences, even physical objects launched toward the fleet carrying messages of peace. Nothing worked. The Armada remained still and quiet. Then, on the morning of the fourth day, NASA engineer Samantha Ortiz detected unusual energy readings emanating from the alien ships. They're scanning us, she reported after analyzing the data. Powerful beams, sweeping over the planet. They're looking at everything. Our atmosphere, oceans, land masses, cities. Military forces worldwide went to maximum alert. Fighter jets remained in constant rotation. Nuclear submarines moved into strategic positions, and space-based defensive systems were armed and ready. At observatories around the globe, scientists noted another change. Several smaller craft had detached from the main fleet and were moving toward Earth. Probes most likely, said Dr. Alan Garcia, who hadn't left his post since first detecting the Armada. They're coming to take a closer look. In homes and shelters, in churches and community centers, people waited and wondered. Some prayed, some protested, some partied as if the world might end tomorrow. News channels ran non-stop coverage, experts debated what it all meant, and children looked up at the sky with a mixture of fear and wonder. Lieutenant Commander Bradshaw continued analyzing the aliens' movements, growing increasingly concerned. These aren't random probes, he told Captain Winters. They're targeting specific locations, our major military installations, power grids, communication centers. This looks like reconnaissance before an attack. Captain Winters studied the data, her face grave. Alert General Powell. Tell him I recommend moving to Defense Condition 2. As darkness fell over the Pacific Ocean, something changed. The alien probes, previously moving in predictable patterns, suddenly accelerated. They would reach Earth's atmosphere within minutes. In the Colorado Command Center, General Powell gave the order they had hoped would never be necessary. Activate orbital defenses. If those probes enter our atmosphere without slowing down, consider them hostile and engage. Around the world, people held their breath and waited, wondering if they were witnessing the beginning of an alien invasion or the dawn of a new era for humanity. The answer would come soon enough, as Earth prepared to reveal whether it could stand against visitors from beyond the stars. 3 days had passed since the alien Armada positioned itself beyond Mars. The massive ships hung in space, silent and watchful. On Earth, a tense waiting game continued. Dr. Ned Harrison paced the length of his laboratory at MIT, occasionally glancing at the live feed of the alien vessels on his monitor. As one of the world's leading quantum physicists, he had been called upon to help make sense of the visitors' technology. They're watching us, he said to his colleague. These aren't random movements. They're studying our reactions, our defenses, our communication patterns. His theory gained support when the aliens launched small probe-like objects toward Earth, targeting military installations and major power grids. The probes had been intercepted by Earth's newly revealed atmospheric defense grid, surprising many civilians who had no idea such technology existed. In the Oval Office, President Eleanor Mitchell ended a secure call with her military advisors. She turned to her Chief of Staff, Greg Lambert. "It's time to activate Project Aegis," she said quietly. Lambert's eyes widened. "Madam President, are you sure? That's been our most closely guarded secret for nearly a decade." She nodded firmly. "If there was ever a time to use it, it's now." Project Aegis had begun in 2035 when NASA scientists discovered unusual properties in certain Earth minerals that could generate energy fields unlike anything in conventional physics. The discovery had led to breakthroughs in defensive technology that the world's governments had agreed to keep secret, developing them jointly away from public view. Deep beneath the New Mexico desert, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Vincent Carter received the Presidential Authorization Code. As the lead scientist for Project Aegis, he had spent 8 years of his life in this underground complex, working on technology that might one day save humanity. "Begin power-up sequence," he instructed his team. "Full system activation in 3 hours." Navy Commander Grace Sullivan arrived by helicopter to oversee the deployment. She had been briefed on Project Aegis, but had never seen it in operation. "Will it work against their level of technology?" she asked Dr. Carter as they walked through the massive underground facility. "Theoretically, yes," he replied. "The energy field should disrupt any known form of propulsion or weapons system, but we've never tested it against alien technology before." Above ground, the situation was growing more tense. Despite government calls for calm, panic had begun to spread. Religious groups gathered in public spaces, some welcoming the aliens as divine messengers, others warning they were harbingers of apocalypse. In Chicago, Professor Howard Klein had spent the past 72 hours reviewing archaeological data from around the world. As an expert in ancient civilizations, something had been bothering him since the aliens appeared. "Look at these," he told his graduate assistant, spreading out photos of cave paintings from sites in Australia, Africa, and South America. "These images are thousands of years old, from cultures that had no contact with each other. Yet they all show similar figures coming from the sky." The drawings showed tall beings descending from oval shapes in the sky, with smaller human figures below them. Some of the paintings included what looked like star maps. "You think they've been here before?" his assistant asked. "I think someone has," Professor Klein replied. "And if these visitors are the same ones depicted in these paintings, they've been watching us for a very long time." At the National Security Agency, analyst Frank Murphy had made a breakthrough. After days of analyzing the energy patterns emitted by the alien ships, his team had detected what appeared to be communication signals. "It's not directed at us," he explained to his supervisor. "They're talking to each other and we're picking up the overflow. Most of it is incomprehensible, but we've isolated a few patterns that keep repeating. The patterns, when processed through advanced AI translation programs, suggested concepts related to assessment, harvesting, and something that roughly translated as life force. The implications were disturbing. Were the aliens planning to take something from Earth? The alien probes that had been intercepted revealed little about their creators' intentions. The devices had self-destructed upon capture, leaving behind only small fragments of exotic metals and organic compounds, unlike anything in Earth's periodic table. At the Lunar Research Station, scientist Maria Delgado had been making observations of Earth from the unique vantage point of the Moon. Something about the way the aliens had positioned themselves had triggered an idea. "Look at how they're arranged," she said during a video conference with Mission Control. "They're not just surrounding Earth randomly. They've positioned themselves at points where our planet's magnetic field is strongest." She brought up a visualization showing Earth's magnetic field lines, overlaid with the positions of the alien vessels. "They're interested in something about our magnetosphere. Maybe that's what they came for." Her theory gained support when sensors detected the alien ships emitting energy pulses that seemed to interact with Earth's magnetic field, causing small fluctuations that would have been undetectable without the advanced monitoring systems put in place after the aliens' arrival. As Day 4 of the standoff began, the alien Armada suddenly changed position. The ships moved closer to Earth, arranging themselves in a new formation that military analysts identified as offensive. "They're preparing to attack," General Richard Powell informed the president. "Or at least that's what it would mean if these were human vessels using human tactics," In response, President Mitchell gave the order to activate all defensive systems, including the previously secret orbital platforms that had been placed in space under the guise of weather satellites and communication relays. The platforms powered up, revealing their true nature as defensive weapons unlike anything publicly known to exist. They generated an energy field that surrounded Earth like a thin blue shell, visible from the ground as a slight shimmer in the sky. People around the world looked up in awe and fear, realizing their governments had been preparing for this possibility for years. In his laboratory, Dr. Ned Harrison reviewed the data from the planetary defense system with growing concern. "These readings don't make sense," he told Commander Sullivan over a secure line. "The aliens aren't reacting the way we expected. It's almost as if they anticipated our defenses." What no one had yet realized was that Earth had more than human-made defenses. The planet itself harbored secrets that even most of those in power didn't fully understand. The truth began to emerge when the alien ships launched what appeared to be the first salvo of an attack. Bright beams of energy shot from several vessels aimed at key points around the globe. But instead of weapons fire, the beams appeared to be advanced scanning technology, probing deep into Earth's crust and oceans. At that moment, something unexpected happened. Sensors around the world detected a surge in Earth's magnetic field, far more powerful than any natural fluctuation could explain. In ocean research stations, scientists reported strange phenomena in the water. The seas began to exhibit unusual properties, with patches of water glowing with faint blue light and microscopic organisms behaving in coordinated patterns never before observed. Biologist Laura Zimmerman, analyzing samples taken from the atmosphere, made a startling discovery. "The atmosphere is changing at the molecular level," she reported. "It's as if the air itself is responding to the alien presence." As these reports flooded in, the alien armada suddenly ceased its scanning operation. Several of the smaller vessels began to show signs of distress, their surfaces rippling in uneven patterns. Then, after days of silence, the first alien transmission was received. The message was brief and only partially translated, but one phrase came through clearly: "Planet defense activated." On the space station, astronauts reported seeing strange energy patterns forming around the alien ships, seemingly emanating from Earth itself. Captain William Reeves described what he saw. "It's like the planet is fighting back. Whatever these aliens were looking for, I don't think they expected this response." As night fell across North America, people looked up to see the alien ships glowing brightly against the dark sky. Something was happening to the Armada, something no human defense had caused. Earth itself had secrets that were only now being revealed, and the aliens were about to discover why some planets are best left alone. The alien Armada accelerated toward Earth in attack formation. Their massive ships, each larger than anything humans had ever built, moved with impossible speed and precision. Military bases around the world went to their highest alert level as the moment of truth approached. In the Colorado Command Center, General Richard Powell watched the main screen with a grim expression. Years of military service had prepared him for many things, but not for this. Still, humanity wasn't as defenseless as the aliens might believe. "Activate all defensive systems," he ordered. "Full deployment. Around the world and in orbit, layers of technological advancement unknown to the public began to power up. Satellite weapons platforms shed their disguises. Underground facilities hummed with energy as experimental shield generators came online. In the oceans, submarines equipped with technologies developed in secret moved into position. Lead systems engineer Paul Bennett sat at his control station in the Orbital Defense Command module. His fingers flew across the touchscreen as he brought the space-based platforms online. "Defense grid at full power," he reported. "The orbital platforms are ready." What the aliens couldn't know was that Earth had been preparing for this possibility for years. Not because they knew aliens would come, but because humans had always prepared for threats, real or imagined. But there was something else the aliens didn't know. Something even most humans didn't know. Earth had secrets that went beyond human technology. Dr. Stacy Powell had been studying these secrets for most of her career. As the head of a classified research program examining Earth's unique properties, She had made discoveries that changed how a select few understood their home planet. Earth isn't like other planets, she explained to the Emergency Scientific Council gathered in Washington. Our combination of a powerful magnetic field, active geological processes, and complex biosphere is rare, perhaps unique, and there's growing evidence that these systems work together in ways we're only beginning to understand. As the alien ships deployed what appeared to be weapons systems, Admiral Joseph Carson coordinated the global naval response. Strange phenomena had been affecting Earth's oceans since the aliens arrived, patches of water glowing with blue light, unusual wave patterns, and unexplained temperature changes. We're detecting massive energy fluctuations in the North Atlantic, reported a sonar operator aboard the aircraft carrier USS Lincoln. It's like nothing we've ever seen before. Similar reports came in from ships and research stations around the world. The oceans were changing, responding to the alien presence in ways that defied scientific explanation. In her laboratory at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution, biologist Laura Zimmerman made a discovery that would help explain what was happening. "Look at these samples," she told her colleagues, pointing to her microscope display. "The microorganisms in our ocean samples have changed. Their cellular structure is reorganizing at the molecular level. The changes weren't limited to the oceans. The atmosphere, too, was showing strange properties. Weather patterns shifted. Aurora-like lights appeared in the sky, even near the equator where such phenomena should be impossible." At NASA's Communication Center, a breakthrough finally came. After days of silence, the first alien transmission was received and partially translated. "We've got something," announced communications specialist Greg Foster. "It's fragmented, but we're getting parts of it." The message contained references to defense systems and unexpected resistance. Most concerning was a phrase that translated roughly as planetary consciousness. What no one outside a small circle of government scientists knew was that Earth's magnetic field had been artificially enhanced for centuries, not by humans, but by technology so old it had become part of the planet itself. The truth had been discovered in 2028 when a benevolent alien scout ship made contact with a group of scientists in Antarctica. That contact had been kept secret from the public, but it had revealed a startling truth. Earth was special, protected long ago by an ancient civilization that had seeded life throughout the galaxy. Dr. Vincent Carter had been part of that first contact team. Now, as he monitored Earth's response to the invasion, he understood what was happening. "The Guardian's technology is activating," he told President Mitchell over a secure line. "The planet is defending itself, just as they designed it to." In orbit, the alien ships moved into position to begin what appeared to be an attack, their weapons charged, glowing with energy unlike anything humans had developed. Captain William Reeves aboard the International Space Station had the best view of what happened next. As the alien vessels fired their first salvo, something incredible occurred. "The beams never reached Earth," he reported, his voice filled with awe. "They're being absorbed by some kind of energy field around the planet. It's not our defense grid, it's something else entirely." The aliens fired again with the same result. Then the ships closest to Earth began to experience system failures. Their surfaces rippled and distorted as if affected by some invisible force. "They're becoming erratic," Captain Reeves continued. "Something is interfering with their systems. Several smaller vessels are drifting, seemingly without power." On Earth, scientists scrambled to understand what was happening. Dr. Ned Harrison, analyzing data from multiple sources, developed a theory. Earth's magnetic field isn't just deflecting their attacks, it's actively targeting their ships with precise energy pulses, he explained. "It's like an immune response, but on a planetary scale." As the first day of the attack ended, the situation had completely reversed. Instead of Earth defending against a superior force, the alien Armada was struggling to maintain position and functionality. In her laboratory, Laura Zimmerman made another startling discovery as she continued to study changes in Earth's microorganisms. "These aren't just random mutations," she announced. "The microbes are forming complex networks communicating with each other across thousands of miles of ocean. It's as if they're working together as part of a larger system." The pieces began to fit together. Earth's magnetic field, its oceans, atmosphere, and even its microscopic life forms were all part of an integrated defense system that had lain dormant until needed. Admiral Carson, receiving reports from ships worldwide, summarized the situation for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The oceans are literally glowing now. Whatever these phenomena are, they're intensifying and spreading. And every time they appear near an alien ship, that ship experiences system failures. By the second day of the attack, the aliens' offensive had completely stalled. Their ships hung in orbit, many drifting powerless. Attempts to retreat were hampered by continuing system failures. Communications specialist Daniel Burton managed to establish limited contact with one of the alien vessels that still had functioning systems. "We're getting a clear transmission," he reported. "They're asking for terms." "Terms?" General Powell asked, confused. "You mean they want to surrender?" "No, sir," Burton replied. "They want to know what terms we require for allowing them to leave our solar system." It was an astonishing development. The invaders, who had approached with overwhelming force, were now asking permission to retreat. The partial translation of their message revealed something even more surprising. The aliens had encountered a similar planetary defense system once before, on a world they now avoided entirely. They had not expected to find another such protected planet. As Earth's oceans continued to glow and its atmosphere shimmered with strange energies, the true nature of the planet's defense became clear. It wasn't just the technology hidden by governments or developed in secret labs. Earth itself was the ultimate defense system, alive in ways humans had never fully understood until now. In space, the alien ships continued to deteriorate as microscopic particles carried on solar winds and guided by Earth's magnetic field systematically dismantled their hulls at the molecular level. The Armada that had approached Earth with such confidence was being unmade by forces they couldn't fight or escape. Earth's invisible defense had revealed itself, and the message to the cosmos was clear. This blue world was protected by powers beyond conventional understanding. The aliens had made a fatal mistake by threatening a living planet. The alien ships began to fall apart in Earth's orbit. Their once smooth surfaces cracked and peeled away like dead skin. Lights flickered and died across their massive hulls. The proud Armada that had approached Earth with such confidence was now a collection of failing vessels struggling to maintain basic functions. In the Colorado Command Center, General Richard Powell watched the main screen with a mixture of relief and wonder. "Are we doing that to them?" he asked Dr. Vincent Carter, who stood beside him. "Not us," Dr. Carter replied. "Earth itself is doing it. We're just witnessing something extraordinary." The scientists studying the phenomenon had made a breakthrough discovery. Earth's biosphere contained naturally occurring nanites, microscopic organisms that had evolved alongside life on the planet. These tiny entities existed in the air, soil, and oceans, forming a planetary immune system unlike anything humans had imagined possible. Dr. Elizabeth Donovan, a biologist specializing in microbial networks, explained the situation to the president and her advisors. "These nanites have always been here, all around us," she said, showing microscope images on the briefing room screen. "They've been part of Earth's ecosystem for billions of years. What's remarkable is how they're responding to the alien presence, like white blood cells attacking an infection." "Are you saying our planet is alive?" asked President Mitchell. "In a way we never fully understood until now," Dr. Donovan replied. "Not conscious like a human being, but aware on a level that's hard for us to comprehend. The planet's magnetic field, atmosphere, oceans, and microscopic life are all connected in a vast network. The aliens triggered a defensive response from this system." As they spoke, the situation in orbit deteriorated further for the alien fleet. Their attempts to retreat had failed when their propulsion systems stopped working within Earth's magnetic field. Now the largest ships were breaking apart as the microscopic defenders of Earth systematically dismantled them at the molecular level. Only one large alien vessel still maintained enough function to communicate. Communications specialist Daniel Burton worked tirelessly to establish a stable channel with the alien commander. "I think I've got it," he announced after hours of effort. "We're receiving a clear signal, and our translation algorithm is processing it now." The alien message was both a plea and a warning. They had encountered a similar defense system once before, on a distant world they referred to only as the Forbidden Sphere. They had lost ships there too, just as they were losing them now, but they had never expected to find another such world, especially not in this part of the galaxy. They're saying that Earth has been marked with some kind of warning beacon for thousands of years, Burton explained as he continued to translate. But the beacon signal had weakened over time, so their long-range scans didn't detect it until they were already committed to their approach. The most disturbing part of the message was the aliens' confirmation that they had come to harvest Earth's resources, including its biological life. The immune response they had triggered was designed specifically to prevent such harvesting. In orbit above Earth, astronaut Peter Collins embarked on a daring mission. Using a specialized spacecraft designed for the emergency, he approached one of the disabled alien ships to recover technology samples before they completely disintegrated. "I'm seeing incredible detail up close," he reported back to Mission Control. "The hull isn't metal as we know it, it's some kind of living material. And it's being broken down systematically, almost like it's being digested." Collins managed to retrieve several small components before returning safely to the space station. These artifacts would prove invaluable in the coming months as scientists studied alien technology. Back on Earth, military psychologist Dr. Susan Taylor had been tasked with assessing what this event meant for humanity's understanding of itself and its place in the cosmos. "This experience will fundamentally change how we see ourselves," she explained in her report to government leaders. "Humans have always considered themselves the masters of Earth, the dominant species. Now we know we're part of something much larger, a living system that protected itself and us from an external threat. This will have profound psychological and philosophical implications for our civilization." As weeks passed, the alien armada continued to disintegrate. The process couldn't be stopped or reversed. Earth's defense system, once activated, would complete its task with methodical efficiency. The final alien transmission was received and translated just before their last functioning ship lost power completely. It was a warning to others of their kind. "Avoid the blue world. It is not what it appears. It guards itself." This message was followed by a data burst that human computers took months to decode. When they finally succeeded, they found it contained star charts marking other worlds with similar defense systems, a network of protected planets scattered throughout the galaxy. 1 year after the aliens first appeared in Earth's sky, the nations of the world had come together to form a unified space exploration and defense agency. The common threat had accomplished what decades of diplomacy could not: a true global partnership focused on humanity's future among the stars. Using technology recovered from the alien wreckage, engineers developed new propulsion systems and power sources. Scientists gained insights into physics that advanced human knowledge by centuries. Medical researchers found applications for the planetary nanites that revolutionized treatments for previously incurable diseases. Most importantly, humans learned to communicate with the planetary defense system itself. It wasn't a true dialogue. The system wasn't conscious in human terms, but scientists developed methods to interact with the network of forces that protected Earth. Captain Olivia Winters, who had been among the first to respond when the alien Armada was detected, now stood on the bridge of humanity's first true interstellar vessel. The ship incorporated both human technology and elements reverse-engineered from alien artifacts. On the main screen before her was a star map showing numerous worlds previously visited by the alien Armada, according to the data they had transmitted. Some were marked as harvested, their resources depleted. Others were identified as too dangerous to approach. Earth had joined this latter category. "Navigation is ready, Captain," reported her first officer, Commander Ryan Ellis. "All systems are operating at optimal levels." Captain Winters nodded, feeling the weight of the moment. Humanity was about to venture beyond its solar system for the first time, not as conquerors, but as explorers and perhaps guardians. "Take us out, Commander," she ordered. "Standard approach to the lunar gate, then activate the drive once we're clear of the defense perimeter." As the ship rose from Earth's surface, Observers noted how it glowed briefly with the same blue energy that had destroyed the alien Armada, but instead of attacking the vessel, the planetary defense system seemed to enhance it, strengthening its shields and power systems. Earth had recognized its own children and was helping them take their first steps into the wider cosmos. In deep space beyond the orbit of Pluto, the last remnant of the alien fleet, a small automated beacon continued its lonely vigil. It transmitted a simple but powerful message to the stars. Earth is protected. Approach at your peril. And back on the blue planet, life continued as it had for billions of years. The oceans teemed with microscopic guardians. The magnetic field flexed and shifted, keeping watch for threats from beyond. The planetary defense system returned to its dormant state, ready to awaken again if needed. Humanity had discovered it wasn't alone in the universe, and that it had never truly been alone even on its home world. Earth itself had been their silent protector all along, waiting for the day when humans would finally understand the true nature of their living planet and their place within its ancient defense network.